in the opening scene before this, you should see pictures of my mama and her Bible, because today is the 12-year anniversary of her passing away and her heavenly birthday. So it was 12 years ago today that she passed from this life into the heavens and arms of Jesus, and celebrated her first day there. I wanted to do this to honor her and to show, well, honestly it's for myself because she's not here, so it's for me. And if it helps someone else whose loved one has passed away, then I hope it brings you comfort and helps you too. Because the idea is that I'm going to celebrate her day like it would be a birthday, because it's her heavenly birthday. So I want to do some things that I know she would love and enjoy if she was here with me. So I'm going to go to eat at the Cracker Barrel, because that was one of her favorite places to eat, and do a little shopping because she loves shopping at the Cracker Barrel. All the different old-fashioned candies, and they usually had a lot of things that had to do with the beach and the ocean because she loved the ocean and the beach. It had things to do with God because she loved God, and had country theme, and she loved country. She collected country things and vintage things and old things, which is probably also where I get my love of vintage and old, is from her. Then I want to go after that to the Coupe here in Fayetteville. It's one of my favorite antique stores here, and I know she also loves antique stores and antiques. She loves history, and so those are some things I want to do today that if she was here with me, we would be doing. And she'd never been to North Carolina in all of her life. And I wish she could have been, because I think she really would have loved it. All the flowers and the flowering trees and the greenery, and being so close to where she could go to the mountains or to the beach. She would have loved it here, and loved the weather, especially where we're here in Fayetteville. We don't get much snow because she hated snow. So at least if you do get it here, you get an automatic snow day, even if it's only an inch or two. And because they don't really have the equipment to clean it, so it's kind of nice to just have a snow day and be at home, and then it melts and goes away, as opposed to where we lived in Nebraska, where it could come and stay for a long time. So that is my special today. So come along with me while we celebrate my mama's heavenly birthday, because I want to make this a day of, as much as I miss her, and it does make me sad sometimes and make me cry because I miss her so much, and I miss her more than probably ever. Even in 12 years later, I still miss her as much as the first day that I lived without her. And I know one day I will see her again. I will see her again, and I know that in my heart. As much as I know that I'm sitting here right now talking to you, I will see her one day. It's the separation that hurts so much. And so instead of making it a day of just feeling bad and sad and sorrowful, I want to try and do something to make it a little bit joyful, a little bit easier, a little bit more of a focus on celebrating her and the person that she was. So join me as we go do some shopping at Cracker Barrel and have some lunch with my husband and shopping at an antique store. Come along, friends, and thanks for joining me for this little side trip from typical things on my channel. My mama loved antiques and vintage things, and she's the one that taught me to love things like that. And Cracker Barrel was also one of her favorite restaurants, because I think she liked the shop almost as much as the food, because it was full of all kinds of things that she liked. She was a fashion queen. She loved to, not everything she picked was always the best, but she loved fashion and jewelry, and it didn't matter if it was real or costume. She just liked the sparkle. She was a big shoe person. I want to say at one point when I counted all the shoes in her closet, she had over 70 pairs of shoes. So yeah, she liked shoes. And she didn't always be dressed up. Sometimes she was very casual, but she loved to have all the options of whether it was casual or dressy. She just wanted to. I think a lot of it is that she grew up very poor. She only ever got like one gift for Christmas or one gift for her birthday, and it was almost always something she needed, like a new coat or a dress or a pair of shoes for school. It was never anything frivolous or fun. In her whole childhood, she only ever had one doll. She grew up very poor. At one point, my grandpa, her dad, used to gamble, and he often gambled away paychecks so that there were, might be 5 or 6 or 7 days in a row where they had hamburger beans for every meal because that's all they could afford and that's all they had. And that was one dish she would not eat when she became an adult because of her childhood. She was born in 1946 in Knoxville, Iowa. She was the oldest of 5 kids. She had 4 younger brothers. And then her mother died when she was 12. So I know all of her life it was just her prayer that she would live long enough to see her children into adulthood and not leave them young like she was without a mama. So that was on her heart. Her dad remarried, and his new wife had 2 children, and together they had 2 more. So it was a family with 9 kids and 2 adults. So it made things a little stressful. They were not the Brady Bunch. Thankfully, as she got closer to adulthood, both of her parents came to know Jesus, and he transformed their hearts and lives and transformed their relationship. Many of her brothers still struggled with it, but I know she did everything she could to be a witness and testimony to them. Those, by the way, are beignet biscuits, and they're amazing. Love them. This is Pick and Coupe. This is one of my husband and I's favorite antique shops here in Fayetteville. We go here, probably once a month or so. We found great many bargains, and this is a place my mom would have loved to wander through, even if she didn't buy anything, just to look and see at things and talk about how she remembered that from her childhood, or this from her grandma having it, or maybe she herself might want it. So she loved shopping. I come by that honestly because she was a shopper. See the pollen? Yes. It's a real struggle here in North Carolina right now, pollen season. That little picture, I love that picture. And I love a lot of these, like rolling pins. I have some, but I kind of wish I had bought that one. I should have checked out the price because I like the blue handles. But being in here, I, of course, can't play it because, number 1, it's kind of loud, and number 2, I don't want any copyright restrictions, but they were playing like music from the 50s, which just made me think of her even more, which I love music from the 50s, I do, but today, thinking about wishing she was here and then hearing the music, at one point, I remember just kind of went and stood in a corner and cried a little because I missed her and wished that I could share this with her. It's been 12 years, and there is not a day that goes by that I don't think about her and don't miss her and don't wish I could share my life with her now, because I know she would love North Carolina. And I'm really very sad that she never met my husband, because I think they would get along famously. She would love his sarcasm and humor. And she was a wonderful, generous, giving person and had a great sense of humor and was very sarcastic wit. She loved to read. She was always reading, and she loved her sweet tea. Didn't have to always be sweet, but she did like it sweet, so she would have fit right in. She tried to cook and bake, but she was not much of a cook or a baker. But, when you don't grow up with a mom and nobody really taught you, she just had to kind of learn on her own, and she did the best she could. I do have a recipe for caramel brownies that's amazing, and that was one of my favorite things she made. She wasn't the chocolate person or chocoholic that I am. She preferred more like cinnamon and vanilla and fruit flavors. Like she loved cherry pie and apple pie. And vanilla ice cream was one of her favorites. Those frosted sugar cookies with sprinkles from Walmart, she loved those. And so that was always her favorite thing. I love this carnival glass. I know that's something she would have liked. She would have loved the color. I think her favorite color was yellow, which is also mine, and she did love red, but she just loved bright colors. Anything bright, colorful, unique, different, anything that had a sense of humor. She was not going to, when it was time to buy cards for her birthday or Christmas, she wasn't going to buy the mushy card. She was going to buy the funny card, because that's just how she was. Yeah, she would have liked this place very much so. And there was probably a lot of things I wish I could have had her input on, and like, what can you tell me about that? What do you know about that? Because she knew a lot about antiques, and from growing up and just like looking at them, and she'd go to Goodwill and Salvation Army and thrift stores and garage sales and find things and look for things and come to know about things. That was just kind of her thing. She got married in 1964, and then I was born in 67, and she was so excited to be a mom. That was her one goal in life, was to be a mama, and she was a very good mama. I mean, don't get me wrong, she wasn't perfect, none of us are, but she did as well as she could. And, she was loving, she was considerate, she was sensitive, and she was funny. Sometimes she was a bit of an authoritarian, and sometimes a little bit, I don't know, it's hard to explain, because once you become a parent yourself, you kind of have a little bit more mercy and grace for people when they fail, because you yourself fail as a parent. My brother came along in 77, and honestly, she didn't think she'd get to have another baby, because my dad was pretty happy with just one. But she lobbied for years, and that's why we're 10 years apart, because Erin was kind of a miracle that she didn't think she'd get to have. So, and I know that was the highlight of her life, was having us kids and then having her granddaughters, Haley and Callie. She just loved them to pieces. It makes me really sad that she didn't get to meet Hayden, because I know she would have loved Hayden to pieces and just enjoyed her so much. My hope is that she got to see Hayden in heaven before she came here. So, but anyway, I wish I could share this with her in person, but someday I'll walk the streets of heaven with her and be able to talk to her and share everything again. Okay, I wanted to share with you, when I did go to the Pick and Coupe, I did go ahead and get that picture. It's got all the names of those different apples on it. I just love it. I think it'll be great for fall, to put some branches in, put it on my entryway table. I also love the size of it, and it was only $11. I know it's probably not a, true vintage or antique piece, but I don't care, I love it. Also, when I was at Cracker Barrel, my mom was such a shoe lover, and I fell in love with these. I had to get them. I love them. And I also got this dress. Don't mind the wrinkles, it needs ironed, but it's got pockets, and it reminds me, it's my style, but it reminds me of my mom, because of the lighthouses and the sailboats. It's totally something she would have loved. There. That's little old lady me for the summer. But anyway, thank you for joining me for this day of spending time thinking about celebrating my mom's heavenly birthday. And if you're wondering yourself, I think I'm a good person. I hope I go to heaven. Wouldn't you like to know? Because if you'd like to know, I can tell you how. And if you sit there and say, oh, well, if it's God, I know God or whatever. Well, do you know God? Do you know Jesus? Do you know your sins are forgiven and that's where you're going? And if you think, well, what if heaven's not real or whatever? But I would rather err on the side of finding out there is no heaven, and at least taking the chance and leap of faith that there is, than assuming there's not and finding out I was wrong. And not only that, for all the people that think, well, I'm a good person, God should just let me go. Do you know him? Do you have a relationship with him? Because I'm pretty sure if you roll up to Taylor Swift's house, you can't just move in because you're a big fan and you like her. You don't know her, so why would she let you live in her house? God's the same way. Why would he let you live there if you don't know who he is? He knows who you are, though. He loves you very much. He sent his son Jesus, who died on the cross to cover your sins. so that you don't have to pay for them when you die, because he took them and he paid for them. That's his gift to you, and you can accept it or not, but sure hope you do, because I'd like you to meet my mama in heaven one day, and if I don't know you, I'd like to meet you there myself. So thank you for joining me. Hope you come back. We'll get back to the regularly scheduled programming, but I just wanted to do this for my mama. I love her and I miss her. Happy heavenly birthday, Mama.